So Gavin Newsom, as we discussed recently, is definitely interested in running for president. Now, if Biden doesn't run in 2024, he's going to run. But we actually just got word the other day, yet again, Biden says, yeah, I'm going to run for president. I mean, he's gone back and forth. He's given some tepid answers sometimes, and other times he's given direct answers that he is going to run. He said yet again the other day, yes, I'm going to run. That's the default unless and until he doesn't. Some sort of medical issue, passes away, whatever. There are scenarios where he doesn't run. If Biden doesn't run, Gavin Newsom runs. If Biden runs this time, Gavin Newsom runs in 2028, okay? He's 100% planned it, laid it out. We discussed, we covered a story the other day, somebody in his inner circle said, yeah, that's what he's doing. Okay, so, now, given that fact, he's been acting in an interesting way, because he's tried time and time and time again to be like, you guys like me? What if I did this? Would you like me then? What if I did this? Would you like me then? And look, not gonna lie, some of the things are kind of based. So probably my favorite is public insulin. So instead of like letting the pharma companies price gouge us, he's like, what if I just make state of California insulin? It's pretty cheap to make. They could sell it for very inexpensive price, and it would undercut all the stupid pharma companies, and that's what he did. And, you know, I remember seeing that and going, oh shit, what? This is kind of based. The other thing he did is, I think he signed, they're giving healthcare to everybody over the age of 50, I believe. Now, the bad thing he did, of course, is he axed Medicare for all. He punted on it. He didn't allow a vote on it. That pissed a lot of people off. That really pissed me off. And it's because he took a tremendous amount of money from the health insurance companies. So, some things he's done are, like, unforgivable. But then he's done some other things that are sort of half decent. So, the new one that I wanted to share with you is qualifying Californians will begin receiving relief payments up to $1,050 this week to soften the blow of inflation. Huh? Whoa. So he's cutting $1,000 checks. Now, I mean, that is based, right? That's good. But I should also caution you guys, gas in California is more expensive than anywhere else in the country, and it's not even close. I think gas is like $6.15 a gallon in California. Why is it so expensive there? I don't know. There's some market reason. I'm not 100% sure why, but it's very expensive. So they're being hit even harder when it comes to inflation than perhaps other parts of the country are. So that's why he's cutting $1,000 checks. Now the other thing is, and we could run through this here. Great job here from Taniel, who, by the way, his real name is Daniel. I feel like my life has been a lie. I always thought Taniel's name was Taniel, but apparently it's not. Anyway, he's the editor-in-chief of Bolts Magazine, and he does phenomenal policy work. So he tracked all the recent moves of Gavin Newsom. This is as it pertains to criminal justice reform. So let me run through the decisions that he made on this front. Gavin Newsom this week signed or vetoed a big flurry of bills having to do with criminal justice and prison. You may have seen some headlines. Solitary reform vetoed, free phone calls. But it's hard to keep track. So here's a thread on 13 of the biggest and why they matter. Gavin Newsom signed a bill to make phone calls free from prison. Interesting. He signed a bill to help expand California's compassionate release program, which will help people leave prison when terminally ill. So you no longer have to be locked up when you're terminally ill. They'll let you go to a hospital and get out, basically. Newsom signed a bill that bans criminal investigations and prosecutions of pregnancy loss, stillbirths, and miscarriages. Okay, so what that means is there's going to be none of these. In a lot of red states, they're doing stuff like this, where they'll investigate you for a miscarriage or whatever, or see if you did you get an abortion? Is that breaking the law? He's banning that, and that's particularly as it pertains to something that happened in Northern California. You can see here the bill is a response to the prosecution of two women in red part of California. So he's trying to nip that in the bud. Newsom signed a bill that will vacate the death sentences of people who have become permanently incompetent. Note, Newsom has imposed a moratorium on execution since 2019, but California retains a large death row. Newsom signed a bill to decriminalize jaywalking in California. Data has shown that black Californians are up to 4.5 times more likely to be stopped for jaywalking than those who are white. Newsom signed a bill to allow people with criminal convictions to petition for relief on the basis of racial bias in their case. The law expands on the Racial Justice Act that passed in 2020, making it retroactive. Newsom signed a bill that will restrict the use of rap lyrics as evidence in trial, needing the court to weigh against the substantial danger of undue prejudice. That's interesting, because there are probably some instances, like that famous Key and Peele skit, where you got the rapper who's like, basically saying, I did the crime, here are the specifics, and he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. So, am I on board with this one? I don't know, man, because sometimes the lyrics can be, just faking it and saying you're a gangster, but you're not, and other times shit could be real, so I don't know if I'm with this one. But I love Killer Mike, by the way, he's the man. I love this guy. Anyway, Newsom signed a law to expand record sealing for people with convictions, which won't fully expunge and has many carve-outs, will help millions of Californians who face barriers to employment or housing due to a past arrest or conviction. Yeah, that's interesting. So, usually if you were a criminal, it's hard to get a job. But now California is trying to make it so that, like, no, if you've paid your debt to society, then, we're not going to hold that against you. So, that's interesting. Very pro criminal justice reform move here. Newsom signed a law that will prevent the disclosure of someone's immigrant status in open court unless specifically authorized by a judge. Newsom also signed a separate law to expand eligibility for California IDs. Newsom vetoed a bill that have increased the allowance people receive upon release from prison to help reentry. Let me repeat that. Newsom vetoed a bill that have increased the allowance people receive upon release from prison to help reentry. It's been at $200 for decades. So they wanted to pay them more, and Newsom said no, they're going to get only $200. He's sort of all over the map with these things here. Newsom vetoed a bill meant to forgive parking tickets for Californians who prove they have been homeless. It was a push by anti-poverty advocates looking to break cycles of debt. So he vetoed that bill. Newsom vetoed the Saving Lives in Custody Act, I guess, that was meant to set up minimum mental health care standards in jail. It was a response to the terrible conditions and series of deaths in San Diego jail. So again, he's all over the map. Some of these decisions are left-leaning, some of these are right-leaning. Newsom vetoed a bill that would have restricted the use of solitary confinement in California. It would have brought the use of solitary within the Mandela standards beyond which the UN defines it as torture. And then he says, I'll stop there because those are the 13 I had eyes on and can find coverage for. So, yeah, there you have it. He's doing a whole bunch of stuff now. He's really all over it. And a lot of this, certainly this right here, is one of the things that's like in preparation for running for office. He wants to be able to point to, a slate of things. Oh, the other thing he did, which I think is actually very based, is mandating mandating California has all electric cars by 2030. That's based. And the fact that they did that means other states are going to follow suit. Eventually New York will follow suit. Others will follow suit. And that does help with limiting carbon emissions. And so he's trying, man. He's trying. He's trying to do some things that get him some, positive eyeballs. And then when he runs for president, he'll run on his record. But some things were unforgivable, some things were good, but ultimately he comes across kind of like a sleazy politician no matter what he does, no matter what he says, so it's going to be an uphill climb for him. But honestly, you can imagine a race where it's like Newsom versus Kamala versus Pete, and like Newsom wins, because this is all like picking not even the tallest kid in kindergarten. It's like picking the tallest kid in preschool. It's like picking the tallest fetus or something, like they're all terrible, and it's like, who's the least bad? That's what elections have been like recently. But look, he's got his eye on it. He wants to run for president. He's going to either this time or next time, no doubt about it. If you want to see me and Crystal Ball interview legends like Noam Chomsky, Cornel West, and more, subscribe to Crystal Kyle and Friends on Substack. $5 a month gets you the video version a day early. Remember, we take 0 ad dollars for this podcast. Or you can sign up on Substack for free and get the audio version a day later. Link in the video description box below.